So last session we discussed about arrays, right? And today we will discuss about the string, which is very important topic. Okay, before string, just we will discuss lightly what is a class and how to create an object. After that we will discuss about the string. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday's one I didn't send that mail. This one I will send today both. Okay, recording is there, but I will send today. So now you are very clear about strings, sorry, all data types, right? Yes or no? How to declare variable, and what is the data type? What are different kinds of data types? Different types of data types and different categories of data types, right? So everything is clear now. So we can go ahead with some classes. Okay. So how to create a class? Okay. How to create a class? Let's see. Go to new. Okay. First of all, you should have a package. All the classes you should paste under a package, right? This is our package name, Java examples, like that. Under that, I am going to create a new class file. Okay, our class name is something student class. Okay, and this time I am not choosing public static void main. Okay, I am just creating one class. Okay, so in the class, so what is the syntax for class? This is access modifier, this is class name, this is class keyword and class name, right? So this is the class keyword, class syntax. Okay, public class, class name. Public class, class name, this one, open bracket and open braces. Okay, not bracket, this is open braces and this is the end braces. So the class scope is from this to this point. Okay, so whatever the code you have written, whether you create a variable or whether you write some functions, everything belongs to, this is the scope. Okay, from this braces to this braces, in between if you write anything, all the code belongs to class. Okay, and in a class what you can do, you can create a variables, you can write some variables, right? Some int. So just let me know what are the student things you can have? If you want to describe about a student, what are the things you will have? Tell me.
Student name, ID, class.
Name. Okay. Name. What is the name? Okay, some name. Okay, ID and
Phone number.
phone number.
College name of school.
I will discuss about a student and pass percentage. Okay. So I want to discuss some I want to write a function whether student is passed or not. I want to know by executing a function the student is passed or not.
Boolean.
Boolean, it is a variable, but now I want to know by executing some function, I want to know the student is passed or not. That function I will pass some marks. Okay, if I pass marks for that function, if the marks is greater than 35, he is passed. If the marks are greater than 60, he is first class. If marks are greater than 50 to 60, he is a second class. Like that kind of function. Okay, so conditional, all those things. So public here. Right now I am not discussing. I didn't tell anything about the functions, but still I am writing one function. Okay. I want to know whether the student is passed or not. Okay. So by Boolean data type I am returning. Okay. I will tell you. Okay. Don't worry about the functions now. Marks is the function. Is yesterday passed. Okay, into what I am passing, marks. Don't worry about this one. Okay, when I say return Boolean return type, something I am doing. Now what is the data type here? Name. What is the data type?
String.
Okay. For ID?
int.
Phone number?
Long.
Yeah, long also it works, but integer also. How many? 9. Okay, something. Now this is one function. Okay, so class, what we can have? A class can have variables and methods, which is nothing but a class. Okay, so methods will clearly we'll try to understand the methods also. Okay, what is the syntax for method, all those things we'll try to understand. Now this is a public and Boolean is student is passed. So here control flow statements will discuss. Okay, what is the control flow statement? Right, sometimes you will write some kind of statements, right? What for example, if the marks is just now we discussed, right? If the marks is greater than 35, and less than 50. What we said? He is just a third class passed. He just passed, right? So that kind of statement. How do we do, how do we do? With the help of if clause. Okay, if clause we will take. So if marks is greater than 35 and marks is less than 50, right? What happened here? Yeah. Okay, so instead of a boolean, I want to return a string statement. That is a third class. Okay, okay, he is passed with third class. And if I want to check one more condition, you should use if else. Okay, if else marks greater than 50 and marks less than 60. We can return he is a second class. Sorry, it was disconnected. Okay. So are you able to see now? Are you able to hear me? Voice is clear?
Yes, yes, sir.
So this is a second class statement I am passing. He passed with the second class. And finally else this time if we got more than 60 less than 100 we can return what we can return is the first class. Okay, else else what is it? Failed. Okay, so this is a function. Inside a function we need to understand what is the conditional statements. If something is some conditional statement, if you want to execute, how to write that conditional statement, right? You want to know if this is the condition. A student got marks, that marks in between 35 to 50. How to check this conditional? What it will do, right? It will perform the comparison. Okay, what this and this. Okay, is it the condition is true, then it will execute this inside the braces. What are the statements we have written? All the statements will be executed if the condition is matching. Okay, for example, this condition didn't matches because he got the marks greater than 50 and less than 60. Then this condition is matching. What are the statements inside these braces? So this is the scope. Okay, for this condition, okay, this is the scope, right? So in these braces, whatever the code you have written, all the code belongs to this guy. Okay, so like that, if, for example, now we passed more than 65, then it fits here. So this statement will execute and it will return. Okay, that is the condition. Whatever the condition is matching, we have 4 conditions here. That value fits in whatever the condition, that condition statement is executed. That conditional statement would be executed. Okay, that is. Any confusions here? Dhanlakshmi,
Yes, sir.
Bhavani Singh,
Clear, sir.
క్లియర్ కదా? ఏ కండిషన్ మ్యాచ్ అయితే ఆ కండిషన్లో ఉన్నటువంటి స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. ఓకేనా? సో ద సేమ్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఓన్లీ విల్ బి ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్. Otherwise, if the condition didn't match, it won't come to this statement, this block. Directly it will look for another condition. Okay, that also not match, it will come to this condition. This also not match, by default it will print this one. Okay, so this is the conditional statements. Okay, so the control workflows I will discuss whenever the situation comes. Okay, so now what is a class? As per our discussion, what is a class? Class is a collection of variables, fields or properties and methods. Okay, that is a class, right? Now you have written a function to understand whether the student, what is the student marks, what is the student grade. We will say this is the student grade, right? Instead of pass, student grade. Okay, student grade function. Okay, this is the student grade function. Okay, so student grade. So now I want to know, I will pass some marks and I want to know what is the grade of the student. How do we do that? For everything in a Java, right, for every class you have whatever the functionality you have, right, very big function you have, you implemented very good with very good logical program. Okay, logical functions inside a class. If you want to use, you must create a object. Without creating object, you cannot use the functions inside a class. Okay, what is the use if you create a number 10 functions are there? Okay, if you are not using, then there is no use, na? So it is just a template until you use that class. Okay, so to use that, to call the functions or to use those functions, right, what we need to do? Only one thumb rule. Only one thumb rule. What is that? Creating the object. Right, we need to create the object to access the variables or to access the functions outside of the class, right? So this is main launch is another class, yes or no? Main launch is another class. So from here, this is a different class, yes or no? This is a student class and this is the main launch class, right? So both are different classes. So this guy wants to know what is the student grade if I pass something, right? So what he should do? First of all, we should create an object. How to create the object? Like this. The class name, this is our class name, student class. Okay, and student equals to new of okay, like this. So we created the object now, right? See, we should use that. So object dot, okay, I want to give some ID to that guy. ID equals to, okay, so I want to find out what is the ID, okay, from that class. System dot out dot println is the function to print the statements in our console. Okay, now student ID, you will get the student ID. Student name, and what is third one? Phone number. Okay, we are printing, see, this class is printing all the student ID, name, phone number, and I want to print, so I am trying to call the function. What is the function? See, how many functions are there here? How many functions are here? Are you able to see, right?
Okay.
See, all the triangle symbols are variables. Okay, all circle symbols are functions. Okay, all circles are green with circle, all are functions. The triangle symbol you are seeing, those are the
So many.
variables. Okay, so now let me know how many functions we have.
10 to 11, sir.
Maximum count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 functions are there. Okay, but
One.
how many functions we have created in student class? How many functions we have in the student class? Only one. But we got 10 functions. Means one is from our class, all other 9 functions are from other class. What is that other class? Why we got that? You created one class and you have only one function, but you got additionally 9 functions you got. See, observe here. Equals is a function of object class. Hash code is a function of object class. ToString is a function of object class. So our function is only std grade. It is clearly saying student class you have only one function, all other from object class. That means for every class there is a parent. Okay, that parent is nothing but object. That's why in the object class you have 9 functions. You are the child for whatever the class you created, that is a child for parent object class, right? So what is the parent for all classes? Object. Okay, you do any class
Object.
for all classes derived from the object class. So parent class is, this is very highly important question. For all classes, who is the parent? Object class. How do you understand? Because you created one class. In your class you have only one method, but when you creating that object for your class, you got additionally 9 methods, right? Additional 9 methods. Those methods are from object class. So by checking this, we can say for all classes are derived from the object class. So who is the parent for all? Object class. Okay, for all classes object is the parent class. Okay, so okay, let's see. This is our function. For example, I want to pass, student got 34 marks. Okay, here I created the object or not? I created the object and got the function. So now let's see, execute now. See, student ID is this, name we didn't give anything, this is the phone number, and he got failed. The student got failed because he secured only 34 marks. This time I am assigning the student value from here. Student name I am giving. What is the name? Okay. Okay. So now I am giving 75. See, ID is 1234. Student name is Bhavani. Or his phone number is this, and he passed with first class. Okay. So that's how we need to create a class, and inside a class you can create a functions, right? You can create a function, right? And if you want to call the functions from outside of the class, not from here, from this guy, some other class wants to use the functions of that class, what you should do? First, what we need to do? Create the object. What is the syntax for creating the object? Class name, variable equals to new class name. Okay, open bracket, close bracket, ends with semicolon. Okay, this one, right? Clear? After that, to call a variable, what you should do? Object dot that variable name. To call a function, what we should do? Object dot open bracket, ends bracket, and if you have any parameter, you need to pass those parameters. Okay, that's how you need to call the functions. Okay, how to create a class? Got it? Any doubt how to create a class? Go to the package, new,
Oh,
say class. Okay. And then how to create an object for that class? Class name variable equals to new of class name. Okay. Then if you want to call the variables, how to call? The class name dot the variable dot the variable name. The object dot, this we can say it is instance. What we can say? Creating the instance for a student class or object creation for a student class. Two names we used to call. Object creation or instance creation. Both are same. Okay. So somebody will say create the instance for that class. Somebody may say create the object for that class. Okay, object dot that variable name. If you want to call the function, object dot that function name. Okay. Now anyhow we are introduced with some functions. So let's discuss about the function properly. Okay. So functions also, just like a variable declaration, functions also have some syntax. Okay. So what is the syntax for functions? Like this: access modifier, public, right? You mentioned public or private or something. That is the access modifier. After that, return type. A function must return something, right? Return type. And function name. Okay. Open bracket, end bracket, and open braces. Okay, end braces. This is the function. And when you say return type, you must have the return keyword. Okay. Okay, na? So this is the syntax. First you need to remember the syntax, then you can automatically, here you can have some input parameters. Okay,
Modifier,
right?
return type. Yes. Return type. Return
So this is the
Fun-
syntax for
function
a
name.
function. What is the syntax?
input parameters.
Dhanalakshmi, can you tell me what is the syntax for a function? Just remember the syntax automatically. Access modifier. What is that next one? Return type.
Sir, I have one doubt.
And this one? Function.
Sir, here
name
in
and
the syntax, we have written access modifier, return type.
Input
Return type
parameter.
is in
And
this
you are returning
block of
something.
code
Here
written inside
you
the
can write a
function
number of
that
statements.
after
This is
executing
one
that block of
statement,
code,
this is one
the
statement, this is
return
one
answer
statement.
which we get,
What
that
other
return
things you
type
want to
is
do,
this
you
return
can
type, right,
use
sir?
a number of statements. Tell me.
String value. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. So here, for example, take this example. What is I am returning after executing? So this is my scope. Okay. First of all, this is my scope. What is the scope? From here to here, whatever the code you have written inside these braces, whatever the code you have written, all the code belongs to this function. Okay. First point. And then you are
String.
performing some statements, you are passing some
yes,
marks,
sir.
and you are checking the condition. The condition matches, you want to return something. Okay, you are saying, okay, third class, within the double quotes you want to return. So when you are saying it is a double quotes, what is that? What is the return type? What is the type of this one? it is a string, right? So you need to mention that string here. Okay, you need to mention here. Finally, I am returning a string value. Okay, so here
Integer.
this is also string.
Error.
So only one return type you will have. Okay, you should not have combination of return types. Okay, only one return type. Your function should return that return type only. For example, if I am saying some number, what should I have here?
It is a string star. Numbers.
Okay, I am passing all the numbers. Okay, here what should I have? It is written error now, but why? Because you are saying, when you are declaring, you are saying it is a string,
Yes, sir.
but you are returning integer. So it throws error. So what you should do? You should change to int. Okay. What are the things you are returning? Based on that value, you should decide what is the return type. Okay. Clear? Now that is the function. Okay. Functions always may not return a value. Functions you just perform some action also. Okay. For example, public void marks Yes.
Yes, sir.
Let's wait for others.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
And all of you registered
Hello?
to that channel.
అడిగింది వినిపించలేదు ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ అడగరాసం చెప్పండి.
Dhanlakshmi, did you? Because I didn't
చేశాను
see
సార్.
the names. Only one guy subscribed. Bhavani, you? Okay. Dhanlakshmi, you? You subscribe? Okay, huh? Okay. Yeah. మీరు సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకున్నారా మన ఛానల్ని? ఓకే 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 సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేస్తే మీకు వెంటనే మనం దాంట్లో పెట్టంగానే వచ్చేస్తాయి. ఇవాళ ఏం పెట్టానో అవి చూసుకోండి. నేను ఒక్కొక్కసారి వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్లో ఐ విల్ పుట్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ మే నాట్ సమ్టైమ్స్ ఐ మే ఫర్గెట్ జస్ట్ యాడింగ్ టు యూట్యూబ్. ఓకే. So now a function which is not returning any value, how to declare? So here student got marks. Now I am adding this one. See here, I am not using any return type. Do I have any return keyword here? I am just printing whatever the things I got. I am just printing. I am not returning something back to someone. Okay. Here just I am using the print statement. That's it. That means I am not returning. When you are not returning anything, what you should have? You should have void keyword. Okay. Instead of that return type, what you should have? Void. Okay. The return type is void. Means the return type of void in the sense you are not returning any value. You just executing some statements. That is. Okay. So this is one type of function, right? Without here you are not returning any value. Here you are returning a value. Two types of functions. And one more function. A function may not have any input parameters also. See here. See, here I am passing input parameter. Here I am not passing any input parameter, right? So like this also you can create a functions. Is it clear how to write a function? First you need to remember the syntax. Access modifier, yes or no? Public access modifier I have given. What is the return type? Here I have given return type is string. Here I didn't given any, I just given void. So void in the sense you should not have any return statement here.
Yeah.
See, I don't have any return statement.
No, sir.
I just return something, I print something, that's it. Okay, and a function without parameters. These are the with parameters, this is without parameter. Right? So these are the different kinds of functions. Any clarity you want on this? Is it clear? Any questions? Okay. Dhanlakshmi, me clear? Functions అర్థమైందా? Okay. But we didn't discuss about the access modifier. Yes or no? What is the access modifier? See here. This is separate class and this guy is separate class. Now I can call any function, right? I can call, I have three functions from student. I got the student marks. So I can call this guy. Yes or no? Why I am able to call? Because this is a public access modifier. Okay, now if I make it private, which one we make it private? This guy 50. See, we make this guy, this function is a private, but what is happening while calling? Not visible. For this class, inside this classes, what are the private access modifier is there? Those functions won't be visible, won't be accessible, right? Since it is a private. So private in the sense, you have something, right? you have your own house, right? All what are the items you have in your house, all those are belongs to you, right? All the properties belongs to you, and those are the private property. Okay, so if you don't want to give it to someone, so you can make it a private, right? So outside, for example, Bhavani Singh is outside, and Dhanlakshmi she has something, so she want to secure. Then what she will do? She will make it private.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
nothing will be accessed by
Yes, sir.
Bhavani Singh, right? See, Dhanalakshmi is one class, Bhavani is another class. In Dhanalakshmi class, you have some private members are there. So Bhavani Singh cannot access those private functions, right? Because the security is provided, right? When you say private, other classes, others cannot have access. Clear? Clear, Gada? If it is public, anybody can access. Anybody, not only Bhavani, and Jabba can access, Nikhilesh or someone, he can also access, since it is a private, public. See here, this function, he is able to access this STD grade. Why? Because it is a public function. He is not able to access student marks with parameters. Why? It is a private. So when you are using the private, you are providing the security. Yes or no? Okay. Now, since Dhanalakshmi and Bhavani both are friends, right? So Dhanalakshmi doesn't want to give others, but since Bhavani is a friend, then she wants to give some functions not to others. In such situations, what is the keyword? What is the access modifier? Should I use?
Yes, sir.
Protected. Yeah. Okay. Protected. Protected in the sense, see, you can share with your friend, not with everyone. Okay, na? Got it? Protected in the sense, a class can share the members with his friends, or who are having some relation with them, but not all others. It is not public
Only child
property.
class and access.
It is
Protected.
somewhat private one, but once they are agreeing, yes, I want to give my friend, right? Then it is a protected. Protected in the sense, when between two classes having some relation, parent and child kind of relation, right? Then they want to share with only their child. Then what is the keyword? What is the access modifier? Protected access modifier. Okay?
सर वो मुझे
Clear?
पेरेंट चाइल्ड का समझ नहीं आया.
Yeah,
Instance
only
का भी.
child class can access, not all classes. Okay? Let's see now. This guy is done. Since he is okay. So that is the protected. Okay. Now one more function type it is in.
Okay, okay, sir.
हाँ. Instance of Krishna. As parent child, he is just creating the object. Now this guy is creating the object. Since it is protected, you have the access now, right? But parent child कब होता? When you are going for inheritance concept. But now we are not discussing about that inheritance concept at this point. Okay, we will discuss later. Okay, abhi now just observe what is the
Yes,
function syntax.
public.
Function name, function open bracket,
No,
close
no, sir.
bracket, and input parameters, and this guy, open braces, close braces, right? Just
Yes, sir.
observe, is it very near to function or not, this access? Do you have access modifier or not?
So,
Do you have access modifier or not here at this line number 5?
yes, sir.
And do you have any return type? No return type, right? But do you have any function name? Student class. Is a function name or not?
Input parameter.
Okay, this is function name. And do you have open brackets?
Okay.
And do you have open braces, close braces?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? It is very similar to function, right? It is function only,
Yes, sir.
right? But it has two special qualities here. Did you observe? What are those two specialities? Are
Return.
to this guy and this guy? This guy and this guy. What are the differences you observe? First difference.
Yes, sir.
No. Input parameters you can have, you may not have. Okay. Here it matches, na? Here, okay. Without input parameters also you can write. This matches or not? If you take the example of that, it is very similar. Only difference, you don't have return type. Okay. And what is other difference? You have different names here, but this guy has the class name. Class name and this function name both are same. Okay, which is nothing but constructor. Okay, constructor. What is the constructor? A constructor which doesn't have return type and the function name and class name both are same, then we call it is a constructor. Constructor is nothing but a function only. Constructor is just like a function. What are the functions we can do? The same thing we can do with a constructor, but only one difference. What is the major difference? Constructor doesn't have any return type. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Constructor doesn't have any return type. See here. Are you seeing? It doesn't have any return type. And what is the second difference? All functions will have their own names, but this guy always have the class name. Class name, constructor is nothing but class name, function name is same, then it is called constructor. And what is the special type specialty of constructor? The specialty of constructor is it doesn't have any return type. That means in a constructor you should not use any return keyword. Okay, only if you want to do any kind of values initialization. For example, you have variables. These variables you have. Here you declare some variables. You didn't assign the values here. You declare few variables and the values you can declare here. Name, something, ID, okay. So constructors, why we are using the constructor? To initialize the values, initial values. Okay, because the constructor would be invoked whenever you are creating a object. Okay, so see now,
Is a constructor.
for your understanding, I am writing one statement.
No, sir. Student name. Student
It is a
dot
constructor.
student mark. No, sir.
Okay. So now let's see, execute this. See, you got the statement, it is a constructor. First, what statement you got it? But are you calling anywhere,
Constructor.
just like a function? If you want a function, how you are calling? Student dot student grade. If you want marks, student dot student marks. But did you call anywhere student dot student class like that? No, right? But see, first this constructor is called,
Constructor.
and the values, what are the values you have assigned in the constructor? Those values assigned, and you are able to access those values. So what is the first function will be called?
Constructor.
First thing will be in any program, any programming language, the constructor would be first called. When you create a function, when you create a object to a class, when you create an object for a class, what will be called? First thing, constructor would be called. Why we are using the constructor? To initialize the values. Okay, so initially I declare variables, I don't have any values, because see, అన్నింటికంటే ముందు వచ్చేది ఏంటి? ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ which one will get? Student class. The constructor would be called. So I want to initialize the values, and all other functions, all other variables use those values. So in such a cases, you should go for the constructor. Okay, constructor would be invoked first among all other functions, among all other variables. Okay, so see, and very simple, how you are creating how you are calling object dot function name, open bracket, close bracket, semicolon. It matches here.